What's going on, bros and hoes, whatever floats your goat? It's your boy Relentless here, and today I am bringing you what I think is, oh my god, just let me tell you, in the dark zone, PBE, no matter what, this has been a dope ass heck of a build, let me tell you. It absolutely shreds people, it shreds NPCs, it shreds everything. And no, it's not alpha. No, it's not some other meta. It's not Banshee. It's not a hybrid as far as, 3 and 3. It's what I call the Skeletor. Because, as you will see, it involves the skull, gloves, and the Barrett chest piece. And here it is. What I call the Skeletor. It is 5 high ends. 2 of them are named the Barrett's chest piece and the skull gloves. The reason I have these Predator knee pads instead of another high end, let's just be fair and be honest with each other. The knee pads on the high end aren't exactly the greatest things to actually use because I mean, grants more triple the accolades or credits or whatever on your D-pads. I mean, come on. So that is why I chose to go a different route and not just do all high ends. By no means this is not absolutely the best knee pads I have, but they are pretty damn good. But without further ado, let's jump into it. As you all know, I've seen the posts. All have been grinding for it, and whether they've got it or not, I apologize if you're still having to grind. The grind is real, my friends. The grind is real. And I just happened to get lucky and actually have a couple of these beauties. But we all know the talents. Barrett's Bulletproof Vest, no skills on cooldown, increases skill power by 10%. 1 skill on cooldown increases damage by 5%. 2 skills on cooldown increases armor by 10%. And we have armor, exotic damage resilience, and 25% kill XP, which I've said before, and we'll definitely say again in case you missed it on the other ones or haven't watched them. But yeah, if you enjoyed this one, go check them out too. But yeah, you would want ammo capacity on your chest piece and your backpack. Um, definitely at least one, because without either one, you're going to get like 900 rounds. With one ammo capacity in your miner, you're going to get around in between 13 to 1400 rounds. So definitely when it comes to Alpha Bridge, or if you're planning on PvPing or long incursions without restock, you definitely absolutely need ammo capacity on your chest piece and your backpack. But in my mod slots, I have stamina with armor and firearms with armor. Very high on the stamina, very high on the firearms, and very good rolls, great rolls on the armor. Moving on to the mask, I'm running a Tenacious mask, 1236 stamina. Tenacious, increased damage by 10% per 10 seconds when using a medkit. In my attributes, I have skill power and disorient resistance. In the minor, I'd rather have something maybe like enemy armor damage or something other than that. And then in my mod slots, I have a firearms and armor mod. Once again, when them godly firearms and armor mods or stamina and armor, I mean, basically, you just keep rolling until you get them. And I guess, been great and been the RNG gods of the division have blessed and shined upon me when it comes to certain things. But yet, on the other things, it's still pitch black, midnight, darkest day, grinding, and still can't find, which is Colonel Bliss's holster and the Pharaoh mask, which is them were the two that I'm most going after for the several reasons to use them, but also make videos on them and provide them. And I'm gonna try to do an all named gear item build for you. We'll see how that works, but as you all know, grind away like 2 wheels. Just keep on grinding. Let's get on to the knee pads. Knee pads, Predator's Mark, doesn't matter what name they are. Has good stamina on them. Major attributes, 1160 armor, that 11% enemy armor damage, 48% increased kill XP, which is by far not the greatest unless you're a PvEer and getting that XP for those proficiency caches and whatnot. So the 48% does work out well for that. But you definitely want in the miners enemy armor damage, and enemy armor damage on everything in the miners on where you can get it on. because that is viable in both PvP and PvE scenarios. And then in my mod slots, I have, as you can see, a stamina and armor mod, and the performance mod, a 6% first aid self heal. My backpack is a specialized backpack. Good stamina roll. I think it was around, let's see, 12 something. So 261 minus that. So, well, it's not too bad. It's like 1198, I believe. With armor, burn resistance, like I said, my attribute, you want ammo capacity instead of burn resistance. And unfortunately, such as you already know from 1.4, as far as the trying to find a backpack with actual armor either already on it with ammo capacity and something other than electronics, unless you're on a skill build, but with everything rolling electronics and no armor, then trying to find something that either has firearms or stamina, either with or without armor, so that way you can still re-roll for, you know, something else. Or if it already has one of the good main stats of what you wanted, or at least, you know, rolling for a high armor on whatever gear. But in my mod slots, I have another of those stamina armor mods with 2% pulse critical hit chance and another 2% pulse critical hit chance. And on to the gloves. The gloves that just make this build complete. It is the Skull MC gloves. Damage is increased by 16% when no gear set bonuses are active. So gear set bonuses means like 2-piece, any of the green teals. Any two of them, these have no talents on them whatsoever. They just basic gloves. It's like using these Predator's Mark gloves down here without having no other piece that even is associated with that gear set on the entire build. So, but I came across these, and I haven't really decided on what I wanted to roll them yet. These are the way that I received them. I have not re-rolled a single thing on here. But I'll go ahead and tell you, that health on a kill is going to be re-rolled for crit chance. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Because, I mean, that's the triple threat. I'm an SMG player, and I love SMGs over even assault rifles or even stronger, and some even have the same rate of fire, if not more, such as the FAMAS or whatnot. The LBOAC, the M4, to compete with pretty much most SMG builds. But that nice base flat damage of the SMGs, and I just prefer them better than ARs or LMGs or anything else. So that's why I'm going to keep the SMG damage. But if I was going for like ARs and primarily using that instead of a SMG, then I'd like to have assault rifle damage instead of the SMG damage. But it was a good roll. I mean, as far as like the overall firearms, I'm glad it's not like a low 1116 on firearms or whatnot. I actually got at least 1200, and that's what I like to, the bare minimum to be on pretty much any piece that I have, unless it's a filler piece, just because I'm using it and have to use it until I find something else. That's why most things, you know, until you get, you know, those god rolls and find those pieces, that the rest are just filler pieces. All right, moving on. In the holster, I have Steadfast. Health regeneration kicks in twice as fast while in cover. And there's other very viable high-ends out there, such as the Sturdy. I wasn't able to find an actual Sturdy holster that was good stats across the board, but this one actually has good stats on it. 1263 firearms, 1203 and stamina, and 1210 and electronics. I mean, not perfect, but I mean, it is, you know, great rolls, and, you know, already I had to put armor on it. Other than that, if it came with that armor, then I would have probably re-rolled the stamina to try to probably get a little bit higher of a roll. But other than that, I mean, these work out great because, I mean, the bare minimum is 1200. Anything less, you want to re-roll and keep it rolling until you at least hit within the 30 to 35 range of hitting the max number on the gear pieces. And in the mod slot, performance mods, I have another 6% first aid self-heal. So that's 12% increase in my first aid self-heal. I get that bonus, that buff. And then I have another 4% pulse critical hit chance. So yes, I'm running pulse with this build. So in the PvP scenario in the dark zone, you would run the conceal. But if you're PvEing, then you don't need conceal, so you would run the other. But I mean, I get the same crit hit chance no matter what. It's 17.7. On my booster shot, I get almost 79k. Now I can easily, if I'm solo, I can easily switch to self heal, and that it greatly increases to 118k. So I don't necessarily need the damage when I'm PBEing. So if I'm PBEing, I go with booster. If I'm trying to, just one or two men, any kind of normal missions, like such as the dailies or the, trying to get the Pharaoh's Mask at the Napalm production plant or Colonel Bliss's holster at General Assembly, now that it's actually able to drop. So, you can just tweak it and ever how you want it. The talents that I'm using, use medkit when not at full health to receive an overheal. Triage, which is most of the time I'm running in the DZ with a group. So the triage helps me get my heals back faster and plus heals my teammates. And also gives me the damage buff on my booster shot. And when I get faster, I can get it back. Then it's better for everybody because I'm dishing out a lot of damage, and you'll see. Critical save and strike back. Reach low health to reduce all active skill cooldowns by 20%. So let's move on to the weapons. The first one that I rock with is the MP5ST with 18.3k base damage. And it has responsive, deadly, and vicious. Instead of deadly, I prefer unforgiving. And I actually have enough Phoenix credits to re-roll deadly. And so deadly will be re-rolled for unforgiving in that slot. So that way with one missing health segment, I get an additional 10% damage boost. So that would put me at 18 plus 18. So about 21k base damage if I'm missing at least one health segment. So that works out real nice. And then the critical hit chance increased by 10% while having more than 2 segments of health. So if I'm the initially one flagging or engaging, that crit chance comes in handy, and I have 29% crit hit damage already baked into it. Let's go into my crit chance is 21.5%. Then you factor in the 17% from my pulse. So that comes out to 38%, and then you add in the pulse critical hit chance in slots. So that's another 4. So that's 25, 35. That's 42, almost 43% crit hit chance, and then 119% crit hit damage, and then 55% headshot damage. I get 4% helped on a kill and 11% enemy armor damage. That would be a lot higher if it was like the AR that I have as my secondary, because it has baked in enemy armor damage, or if I had destructive in my second slot. That helps out on PvE situations, but in this situation, as far as what this build is about, yes, destructive is nice to have, but unless you're running like an alpha build or like an LMG, or you want that extra damage on an AR, then unforgiving, or if you don't have responsive or brutal or something like that in the first or second slot, is a lot better than having deadly or destructive. And then skill power, 115.7k. Survivability, I have 196.4k max health. And then my armor mitigation is 52.87%, so almost right at 53%. So this build is pretty tanky to an extent, and I can put a lot of damage downrange very quickly. So they're probably going to be jumping around, acting like they're covered in fire ants. No, stop. Like, how they look when they get hit by a flame turret or explosive rounds and get caught on fire. How they flip-flop around like a salmon hopping out of a stream while mating season's going on. But anyways, moving on to the ACR. And you're asking, well, why not you using the FAMAS? I don't really care for the FAMAS too much, and so I prefer the ACR. And the ACR has 19.5k base damage, 21% enemy armor damage. That translates to 7% enemy armor damage and armor shred for PvP. And I have unforgiving, responsive, and brutal on it. Going down to my magazine, 101% magazine size, 2.5% crit hit chance, 4.7 rate of fire, And my optics, 18% crit hit damage, 2.5% stability, and 3% crit hit chance. And my suppressor, 17% headshot damage, 2% accuracy, 2.5% stability, and 43% reduced threat. And my large underbarrel, 17% crit hit damage, 2.5% stability, and 2% accuracy. And with my low crit, I'm still putting down a lot of damage, 19.5, and then you gotta factor in the buff from the gloves, so that's an additional 16% on top of that. And then accompany that with either booster shot and train booster shot as it's debuffing if I have to, if necessary, to pop a med kit that activates the tenacious, so I constantly have that buff going on. And then you gotta calculate in the bonnet, the Barrett's chest piece, depending on what phase I'm in, whether I'm using 1 skill or 2 skills. With no skills on cooldown, I got 10% skill power boost. But for 1 missing skill, when skill's on cooldown, then I get a damage boost. And with 2 on cooldown, I get a boost in my armor. So if I pop my booster shot, then I'm popping and activating that talent on my Barrett chest piece, then entwined with the skull gloves, you can see where this is going. The damage is just keep climbing higher and higher. And as you can see, 30 overall, 32% enemy armor damage, which is, that's 8, no, roughly about almost 11%, so it's like 10.5% on PvP enemy armor shred. And then we've already went over the armor. But to let you guys know and to see, I guess, full hand on what it looks like, I'll go ahead and run down here to the firing range, and we'll shoot some down the range. And you'll see what I'm talking about when it comes to popping and proccing these talents. Seems like this game is nothing but running sometimes. And I run so far away. Gotta get away. Especially everybody trying to rogue down south in DZ 1 and 2, and then they all of a sudden get in manhunt and then just take off running like they're gonna run it off. I mean, come on. Be a man. Stay there and fight it out. Just don't camp the checkpoint. That's not cool. But anyways, with no skills or nothing procced, with the MP5, so 31.2, and then the body with that's not even, that's white damage. That's that's 20.7. Well, 20,078. And when I do crit, that's 43K on a hit, on a critical hit. And that's body. Can't rightfully read those yellow numbers that's popping out the dude's head. Alright, 51. Oh, 55. 55.115. So 55.1 with no skills being used, nothing else. So let's pop booster. So 36 and 64. 64.6 when booster is activated. So that's pretty good. We'll drink this on, and then I'll pop it again, and but yeah, if you have the pieces to put this build together, it's really fun to go in the dark zone with this and watch people flop around. It's really fun. Booster shot is procced. See my tapping itself up to 490. My DPS skyrockets. I'm at 22.1. I'm hitting for 47 when I pulse, and that's what having 2 skills on cooldown because of the Barrett's chest piece. 2 skills increases my armor by 10%. Just hitting the booster shot, I'm at 490k toughness. So it works out really well. So let's do this. And it just, the pain absolutely just flows. Now that's just like crazy insane. And now the ACR, see, I'm hitting 22.4 white damage. And 39.4 crits to the body. Now to the head, white damage to the head, 45.7. 45.7 to the head, and 64, I believe it said, to the head on crits. So yeah, this build can be really nasty. All right, 25 and 43. 49, my bad. 23 and 49, or 25 and 49. Yeah, and 45, then critted for 61. Yeah, so this build definitely is really nasty, and I hate it for anybody that comes across me in the dark zone and tries to pick on me, because I'm just going to absolutely mow you down and shred you. But yeah, so this is the Skeletor. Tenacious mask, skull, MC gloves, specialized backpack, the Bear's bulletproof vest, the tactical holster, which is if you prefer to be a little more tankier and plan on popping cover and being in it for 4 seconds or more, then I recommend Steadfast. With Steadfast, not Steadfast, Sturdy. The Sturdy, if you stay in cover for more than 4 seconds, you get a 15% armor buff. So if you want to rock that, by all means, that'd work out well also with this build. And then you can run the accomplished knee pads if you choose to, but any random knee pad will do just fine and work just as well. And overall, I give this build 2 thumbs up. I don't care if you're running 2 Alpha Bridge or a full set of Banshee with Vigorous, Savage, it doesn't matter. With this build, you can keep up with the best of them. And if you enjoyed it, and find it very informative and like the build, please ground and pound that like button if you would be so kind. Thank you all for your support. It's much appreciated. Also check out Upper Echelon Gaming's Facebook community on all things Division. Great, awesome community. And also their Discord server at Upper Echelon Gaming. That link is also in the description below. And like I said, if you have enjoyed it, smash that thumbs up, and I appreciate it. And this is your boy Relentless, and I hope you have a good night, and we'll see you guys fudging later.